there have been some mixed reports we kind of talked about on the show going into the playoffs about Doc Rivers returning. And Daryl Morey said at the postseason presser that he'll be back. Other Philadelphia reporters have also said that Doc will be back. But some national reporter guys, I don't know if it's just a national thing to just try to stir up stuff, to just throw out things, but they haven't ruled out Doc going to the Lakers. I think Mark Stein was one of them, Brian Windhorst, a couple other people. But the local guys are pretty adamant that what Morey said that Doc's staying, he's staying. So my question is, with all this kind of looming, do you think Doc will be back as our guy in Philadelphia? And should he be back?
I think you should give him a go at it for a full season. I Bleav that, but I'm not confident that he will be back. It would not surprise me if he's, traded per se to another team. Like I think that just like players, almost everyone has a price. And I Bleav if, Doc kind of pushes it, or we don't know how the draft's going to shake out. We don't know how free agency is going to shake out. Like it's a lot of unanswered questions to just be so firm on how things are going to end up. And I just know that a lot of things we got to kind of see how this plays out before we can determine, whether it's a lock someone's coming back. I think it should be. I would like him to have him back, but I'm not certain yet.
So I guess from a player's point of view, as fans, we always watch and say like a receiver or like a point guard says, I'll be here. Like, I don't want to go. And then we find out later on, it's like, okay, well, this is just the GM's talking or the player talking. But like, I think from as far as like a coach point of view, when Morey and Doc are sitting next to each other saying, oh, he'll be back here next year, you think that like from a coach, they're kind of like, when they say a coach is going to be back, okay, that's fine. He's going to stay. So you're saying there's really no difference between a player and a coach when it comes to that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I mean, things can change. So you go and then all of a sudden when you spoke, everything's great. But then all of a sudden as time went on and an opportunity came, or you wanted something and you didn't get it, or, you disagree on things. Yeah. It's just like anything. It's a relationship. Any relationships can all of a sudden go a different path. So like I'm saying, it wouldn't surprise me if that relationship took a detour. Like that would not shock me. We've seen coach of the years be let go.
Yep.
Right? So it wouldn't surprise me that all of a sudden they say, hey, how many times you see it? Like after kind of talking it out some more, we've come to this conclusion.
Yeah. Teja, as a fan,
we've mutually agreed to this, however they say it.
I think he will be back, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either, like you said, Eric. But honestly, when it gets into the want part of it, it's like I'm more of like I get in a lot of arguments with fans about this too, because with players and coaches, with all my favorite teams, I don't get into the get rid of that person till you talk about
who's coming,
who you're going to replace them with. Like that's
that's what I personally think is the issue.
Yes.
You can get rid of them, but who are you getting?
Yes. People are always like, oh, I think that's been such a really common like fan casual Twitter take, and social media has really lifted that off the ground with like, off with their heads. Okay, but who's going to sit in that chair afterwards? Like you all want to get rid of the king, or you all want to replace this person or that person without someone to lead. Like it's everywhere now. And I'm like, don't get into the get rid of them. Who's coming? We'll figure that out. No, figure what out? Offseason's not as long as you think it is. What do you mean figure that out? We have a draft coming in. We have free agency coming up right afterwards. You have to get someone in who's in line with what we have and where we want to go. So yeah, I mean, Morey's a pretty calculated guy. If he does do this, it's because he probably has a plan. Well, I'm just talking about pure opinion wise. I'm just not into the whole, like, if you can upgrade, you have someone in mind, sure. I'm always for a better player. I'm always for a better fit and a better coach, but I'm never for getting rid of just to get rid of. A guy's got to be pretty bad to have addition by subtraction. Like he's got to be cancerous on your team. And he's got to be a bad head coach. There might not be a lot of there might be some guys who aren't fans of Doc, but no one's going to sit here and say he's a bad coach. You don't need to know basketball if you say he's a bad coach. So he's not a bad coach. If he's not your cup of tea, sure. But if that's the case, give me a name. But like no one ever has names or anything they want to replace it with. They just want to get rid of people. I just
give
don't.
me a name that's available.
Yeah, that and give me a reason why it works, not just pick anybody. Please do not say Jay Wright. I'm so tired of the Jay Wright. We've been hearing Jay Wright's name since Larry Brown was here. Okay, we've been hearing Jay Wright's name for like 20 years now. Okay, I'm so tired of the Jay Wright thing. That's a pipe dream. Okay, if it happens, sure, but we're in a win now mode anyway. If you tell me you're going to get a first-time NBA coach here right now with this team ready to win right now, I'd be pretty freaked out personally. But again, it's good to have good management that you trust. That's one peace of mind that I have, that if something does happen, Morey has X, Y, and Z reasons why he does it, will do it. So at least there's that. But yeah, I'm all for replacing if it's for a good replacement, not just to say, all right, we did it, guys. He's out. Now what?
Yeah, I did see one. It was just a fan's kind of like perspective on it, but it made sense. So let's say, they said they are going to keep Doc, but then, things go awry in free agency and, we get some assets back for Doc or something, or pick or whatever. Then you just move Sam Cassell. You move Sam Cassell up to that head coach spot. You can't, guy who's already in-house, who kind of knows the lay of the land and everything. You're just kind of elevating Sam Cassell to that head coaching spot. And he's interviewed for other head coaching positions all over the place. And a lot of people say he could be the next big thing as far as being a head coach in the league. I mean, it would make sense to elevate somebody already in staff that's already in-house. That would make sense to me. What do you guys think about that?
Sam deserves an opportunity. So, I mean, it just depends on if that opportunity is going to come from a team that's younger or a team that's already the expectations are to win. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. I'd say I'd be fine with it again if they think that's what he deserves and he should get. My question is that too much pressure on someone who's going to be finding their footing as a first-time head coach for a team that has semifinal expectations today, like right now? Like you have to go further than you did last year. Otherwise, this is a failure because we can't keep losing in this round. So that's the whole thing. I mean, is that fair to give someone who's brand new to that level of expectation off the bat? Right. So,
yeah, I mean,
but if not him, who? I don't know.
Ube had it and he did it with Boston. So it's
true.
It can happen. I think that Sam's qualified. It's just a matter of the decision makers and what they want to do.
Mm-hmm. And if we are involved in the whole Beal sweepstakes, like that, the reports have been going on for the last few weeks, Beal and Cassell are very close. So
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.